Welcome to Dreamy Tales, where soothing stories guide you into a peaceful night's sleep. Enjoy imaginative bedtime stories that take you on a journey to the land of dreams, accompanied by relaxing background sounds to help you unwind and drift off easily. Perfect for both children and adults, Dreamy Tales is your ideal companion to relax, wind down, and enjoy tranquil moments. Don't forget to subscribe, like the video, and share it with others. Tune in, relax, and let your mind wander into a world of calm and serenity with us. One bright and sunny morning, Ellie and Suzie were enjoying their breakfast in the kitchen, their favorite part of the day. Ellie sipped her juice while Suzie napped lazily on the windowsill, the warmth of the sun casting a gentle glow across the room. It was a typical morning in their cozy little town, tucked away between the whispering woods and the sparkling sea. However, their peaceful day was interrupted when a soft knock echoed at the door. Mrs. Appleby, their elderly neighbor, stood on the doorstep, her usually cheerful face clouded with worry. "Ellie, Suzie, I need your help," she said, her voice trembling slightly. "My heirloom necklace, it's gone. It's been in my family for generations, and I can't imagine where it could have gone." Ellie's bright eyes instantly lit up, her curiosity piqued. Suzie perked up as well, her emerald eyes sparkling with the promise of a new mystery to solve. Ellie nodded resolutely and said, "We'll solve this, Mrs. Appleby. Don't worry." With determination, Ellie and Suzie hurriedly gathered their detective kit, a magnifying glass, a notebook, and a trusty flashlight. They headed straight to Mrs. Appleby's cottage, ready to uncover the mystery of the missing necklace. As they walked through the town, Ellie's mind raced, thinking of all the possible clues that might be hidden in plain sight. Arriving at Mrs. Appleby's quaint little cottage, Ellie felt a sense of excitement bubbling inside her. The cozy house was nestled on a small hill, surrounded by blooming flowers and ivy-covered walls. Mrs. Appleby led them inside, and Ellie immediately began her investigation. She had learned that every detail mattered, no matter how small. The living room was immaculate, as usual, but something caught Ellie's sharp eye. A trail of muddy paw prints marred the otherwise spotless floor. "A clue!" Ellie exclaimed, her voice full of excitement. Suzie let out a soft meow, as if agreeing with her. The paw prints were small, leading toward the open window at the back of the room. Ellie carefully examined the window and discovered something even more interesting: tufts of white fur caught on the latch. She knelt down, running her fingers over the fur. "This isn't just any fur," Ellie mused. "It's too soft for a dog. It must belong to a cat or another small animal." Ellie glanced at Suzie, who was now sniffing the air and twitching her nose. Suzie seemed to pick up on something. Her whiskers quivered as she darted toward the window. Ellie smiled. Suzie's sharp nose always helped them solve the trickiest of cases. The mystery was deepening. They had a new lead to follow. With the first clue in hand, Ellie and Suzie decided to seek help from their animal friends around town. Their first stop was Max, the friendly golden retriever who lived next door. Max was known for being observant and always up for a good conversation. As they arrived at Max's yard, Ellie asked him if he had seen anything unusual. Max, who was lounging lazily in the sun, shook his head. "Nope, didn't see anything strange, Ellie. But I'll keep my ears open. If I hear anything, you'll be the first to know." Grateful for his help, Ellie and Suzie continued their investigation. Their next stop was the wise old owl, Luna, who lived in the ancient oak tree at the edge of the woods. Luna had lived there for many years and had seen countless things in the quiet town. As they approached the towering tree, Ellie called out softly, "Luna, do you have any information for us? We're investigating a missing necklace." Luna, perched high in the tree, blinked her golden eyes and replied, "I've seen a shadowy figure moving through the trees late at night. It was carrying something shiny, glimmering under the moonlight." Ellie's eyes widened. "That's important. A shiny object, just like Mrs. Appleby's necklace." Luna hooted softly. "I can't say much more, but I thought you should know." Thanking Luna with a small treat from her pocket, Ellie and Suzie left with a newfound clue. They now knew the thief had been active at night. The puzzle was starting to come together. The sun began to set, casting a warm golden glow over the town. With night fast approaching, Ellie and Suzie decided to set a trap for the thief. They borrowed a sparkling costume necklace from another neighbor, which looked strikingly similar to Mrs. Appleby's heirloom. They placed it carefully on the windowsill of Mrs. Appleby's cottage, hoping to lure the thief back to the scene of the crime. Ellie and Suzie hid in the bushes near the cottage, watching the window with bated breath. The air was cool, and the stars began to twinkle above them. The wait seemed endless, but Ellie and Suzie stayed quiet, their eyes trained on the shimmering necklace. Hours passed, and just when Ellie began to lose hope, a small shadowy figure crept toward the window. The figure's eyes gleamed in the moonlight. It was a raccoon. With nimble paws, it reached for the necklace. Ellie's heart raced. This was it, the thief was caught in the act. As the raccoon reached for the sparkling necklace, Ellie's heart skipped a beat. This was the moment they had been waiting for, and everything had led to this point. The raccoon was so focused on the shiny object that it didn't notice Suzie spring into action. With a sudden, graceful leap, Suzie bounded forward and landed directly in the path of the raccoon, blocking its escape route. The small animal froze, its eyes wide with surprise. Ellie quickly stepped forward, her voice calm but firm. "Hold on, little one. You can't take what isn't yours." The raccoon, startled but not aggressive, backed away slightly, its paws raised in a half-hearted attempt to defend itself. Its eyes darted from Ellie to Suzie, and for a moment, there was a silent exchange between the two, Ellie's understanding and Suzie's quiet determination. The raccoon's innocent gaze revealed that it wasn't malicious but simply attracted to the necklace's shiny allure. Ellie crouched down to the raccoon's level, her voice soft and reassuring. "You've been taking shiny things, haven't you? That necklace was very important to Mrs. Appleby. But it's okay, we understand. You just wanted something beautiful for yourself." The raccoon tilted its head slightly, as if realizing it had made a mistake. Suzie, still poised in her quiet stance, lowered her guard. She could tell that the raccoon wasn't a threat, it was just a curious creature lured by its fascination with gleaming objects. Ellie reached out slowly, offering a hand in peace. "We'll make sure Mrs. Appleby gets her necklace back, and you'll be able to keep something just as precious to you," Ellie said, smiling warmly. Ellie glanced down at the forest floor and spotted a perfect, sparkling pebble. It wasn't as brilliant as the necklace, but it gleamed in the moonlight. The raccoon's eyes widened in interest as Ellie picked it up and held it out, showing the creature the new shiny treasure. "You like this?" Ellie asked softly. The raccoon hesitated for a moment but then snatched the pebble, its eyes bright with joy. The exchange was quiet but significant, a peaceful resolution to the situation. Ellie stood up, carefully placing the heirloom necklace back on the windowsill. "You're free to go now, but remember, shiny things aren't always meant to be taken. Sometimes they belong to others," she said gently, offering one last glance at the raccoon. The little creature hesitated, as if considering Ellie's words. Then, with a final glance at the necklace, the raccoon scampered off into the shadows of the night, clutching its new pebble. Ellie and Suzie watched it disappear into the woods, both relieved and satisfied that the mystery had been solved. The next morning, the sun rose over the town with a warm golden light, casting long shadows across the cobbled streets. It was a peaceful day, but the atmosphere in the town felt different, brighter, somehow, as if the whole community was filled with an unspoken excitement. Word had spread quickly about how Ellie and Suzie had solved the case of the missing heirloom necklace. The whole neighborhood buzzed with gratitude and admiration for the young detective and her clever cat. People stopped Ellie and Suzie on the street, congratulating them, patting Susie's fluffy head, and praising their bravery. But it was Mrs. Appleby who was the most grateful. She had already promised to bake Ellie and Suzie a special thank you treat, and now it was time to deliver. The smell of freshly baked apple pie wafted from her kitchen, drawing the attention of everyone nearby. It was one of Mrs. Appleby's most famous recipes, filled with cinnamon and a generous helping of love. "Here it is." Mrs. Appleby beamed as she carried the warm pie out of her front door, the golden crust just begging to be tasted. "For my favorite detectives." Ellie and Suzie took the pie gratefully, and the neighborhood gathered in the park under the shade of the ancient oak tree. It was the perfect spot for a picnic, with its towering branches and cool, dappled shade. The whole town seemed to gather around, Max the golden retriever, Luna the wise old owl, and even the raccoon, who had returned quietly, still clutching its shiny pebble. Everyone sat in a circle, enjoying the beautiful day and the sweet taste of Mrs. Appleby's pie. Ellie, Suzie, and their furry friends shared the pie and laughed together. It wasn't just about solving the mystery anymore, it was about the joy of being together and helping one another. Ellie looked around at her neighbors, the faces of the people she cared about, and felt a warm sense of satisfaction. It wasn't just the necklace that had been found, it was the kindness and friendship that made their small town such a special place. As the afternoon sun began to dip below the horizon, Ellie leaned back against the oak tree, Suzie curling up beside her. She felt a sense of peace wash over her. The mystery had been solved, the heirloom returned, and a new friendship had been made with the raccoon. "Well, Suzie," Ellie said, her voice soft, "we did it. We solved another mystery and helped someone in need. I think this was one of our best adventures yet." Suzie purred contentedly, her emerald eyes sparkling with the satisfaction of a job well done. The stars began to twinkle above them, and Ellie closed her eyes, imagining all the future mysteries they would solve together. And so, the night fell softly over the town, carrying with it the tales of Ellie and Suzie's cleverness, bravery, and the magic of friendship. Their adventures were far from over. The next mystery was always just around the corner, waiting for Ellie and Suzie to bring their special brand of curiosity, heart, and wit to the world. With a contented sigh, Ellie drifted off to sleep that night, knowing that with Suzie by her side, there was no mystery too great for them to solve.